Hi, I'm Laura Sherwood, the Firefly Stamper. I live in Salisbury, New Brunswick, which is just outside of Moncton. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm going to be sharing not only a very simple design, but really a simple card to put together those times when you're thinking, oh no, I don't have a birthday card. So thank you for joining me, and we'll get right to it and make this beautiful card. Well, before we start our card, I would like to talk about the Designer Series paper that we're going to be using. The Designer Series paper is called Bloom Where You Are Planted. And there are two each of 6 designs. This is actually the DSP I'm using today, the Designer Series paper, and I cut it down this way and then this way to make the for the card today. This is the reverse side. So our Designer Series paper have 2 sides, 2 patterns. This is the other one. I'll be using these in other cards I'll be making during the next 4 weeks. And so that's very pretty. I love the brick pattern. It's lovely. And this is lovely. This is another paper. As you see, some of these are half sheets because I have been using these. This is another pattern. I love the brick patterns. They're so wonderful. And I have this actually used in another series, another card that I'll be doing. And the lovely pots and then pattern on the back. So that is the Designer Series paper that I'm going to use. And I'll show you the card that we're going to be making. In so many ways, such a simple card. But I love having simple card designs available for when you need to put together that quick card. And so this isn't just a simple design, but it's actually a simple card. So as you can see, I have used the Pool Party cardstock as my base. And so this is the base right here. So the base is cut a very much a traditional way. So it's 8.5 and by 5.5, and then scored at 4.25, and then folded, of course. And then my DSP that I mentioned is right here, as you can see, and that is cut 4 by 5.25. And then I have a piece of cardstock cut the same size, but that's for the inside as well. I have a sentiment that I've actually pre-cut, but I do have a piece of cardstock here, so I'll be doing that again. And then I use the Tasteful Label dies to get the shape that I have right here. So that was great. And then on the front, I'll be using a rhinestone from the Rhinestone Basic Jewels on the front as well. So you can see here, and I don't know if I bring that up close, you can realize how sparkly the wings are, but I used Wink of Stella on that as well. And so that makes for a very pretty dragonfly. So the dragonfly, of course, is taken from the Dragonfly Garden and the stamp. So there's 2 options to stamp. Now if you use this particular dragonfly stamp, I use the black mementos to stamp it. You'll need I at least felt I needed to color in the body. If you use this one, it'll stamp on the black when you stamp with black memento. But this is the one I'm using today. The sentiment that I used on the front of the card, so that would be here, the happy birthday to you, is one that is taken from Best Year Clean Stamp Set, and happy birthday to you. So this gives a lovely variety of sentiments that'll come in handy all year round. So that is the one I use. And of course, with the dragonfly that we're going to be doing, this is the punch that comes that I have that goes with my dragonfly garden. And right now it's locked, so I'm just going to unlock it and get that ready. So I have started to color in the dragonfly, and I wanted to demonstrate to you the colors that I was using. So I am using, and sometimes, like, if you don't have the colors you think you need, try some other colors, because I had dark Just Jade and the Mint Macaron Light. And I found that they worked quite well for this. So I've already done the dark jade, then in here. I've already taken the light black, light basic black right here, light basic black. And I've colored in the body with that. So now I'm going to go back And I'm going to take, there's 2 tips on our blends. Let's put it this way, 2 tips on our blends. You'll see a very solid tip like this. And I think you can probably see that really well. There's a solid tip, and then there is a brush tip. So I'm going to use the brush tip on this, and I'm going to now do, the reason I do the dark first, you kind of take your time doing the dark. And then with this one, I don't really, as long as I stay inside the outer edges, I don't really need to worry too much of going over into the dark. So that makes it a little less time consuming than doing the dark one, that you have to be a little bit more careful. So I'm just going to go in and get those white portions of the wings colored in, and we're going to be using Wink of Stella. So I'm going to color all this in. And when I did the dark, as you probably can tell, I followed some of the lines that are in the wings to give that nice little swirly effect. So there is the light mint macaron, and I wanted to give that variation of color, and I felt those 2 colors really allowed me to get that variation. Now, just so that'll dry a little bit before I use the Wink of Stella, I'm actually going to demonstrate punching this out and how I would punch it out. So this is your punch for the Dragonfly, and as you say, there's a little one up here. I actually have a length piece here on the side, and so I decided actually to stamp it. But I wanted to do it because you need to be able to hang on to something or use a Post-it note and stick on the paper to put it in. So when I go to stamp this out, I line it up the best I can, and then I will grab it just a bit. So I've that actually now is grabbed with my punch, but I just want to check out and see if I have a nice space around the Dragonfly of white, and I do. So now I'll punch it. So there we go. So there is my punched Dragonfly. Now I'm going to use the Wink of Stella on the wing, because I wanted that ink to dry a little bit, because the Wink of Stella will move your ink around. So let's just get this looked after, and I'm going to put the Wink of Stella on the wings. And as I said, you probably want to let that dry just a tad, because where I've used the 2 colors, and the colors are very similar in that they're both from the green family, I wanted to make sure I had the pieces dry a little bit. And then I'm going to just check it out, and oh yeah, that looks pretty. And I'm going to add a little more here, and then just check it under the light to see if you have the amount of sparkle that you would like, and just go back and touch it up. So there we go. So there is our Dragonfly completed. I'm going to set that just aside here. I am going to now show you how I would stamp. So for me, when I'm doing my sentiments and then cutting them out, I like to actually stamp them first. That way, if I get it crooked on the paper, it's actually a little easier to get the sentiment cut out straight. So I am going to grab my birthday wish, which is happy birthday to you. So happy birthday to you, which is right here. And then I'm going to pull this out of my stamp case. I'm going to grab a block to put it on. Now for me, doesn't matter to me that it's going this way, because I should be able to get that straight on the paper. So happy birthday. Sometimes I'll get my stickers on the opposite side. I will actually get them on crooked. Don't know if that happens to you. Once they're on, they're on. So it's not like you can really adjust them. So I will just tap, tap, tap. Don't press down too hard. Make sure that it's well inked. And then usually what I do is I test out my stamp before, because I don't remember which stamps I get crooked and which ones I don't. So basically on the stamp, or on the sticker that's on the back of the stamp, that looks straight. Oh, I guess I stamped it twice. Let's try to do that again. So there we go. So this will tell me, okay, I need to drop it down on the right hand side when I stamp. And again, it's not going to be too bad, because I am going to put the sentiment or the piece that I'm cutting out on it after. So here we go. So I'm going to be cutting this out from a shape, so I want to make sure I give myself lots of room. So there we go. So there, it's on a bit of an angle, which is not going to be a problem anyway, because I am going to put my Tasteful Labels. I'm going to pull out the label that I want. And the label I want, or the shape I want, is this one here. And that I'm going to use from the Tasteful Label dies. I'm going to set this aside. So when I put this on now, I am going to be able to line it up. So I would get a piece of tape, piece of washi tape, and I'll just tear a little piece off. I will line this up so how I want it, and then I'll just give it a tape. And then I have a cut and emboss machine, and so when I do my cut and emboss machine, my plates, it's great how, and you'll forgive me because mine is well used and it is dirty, so it'll tell you how to line them up. So I want one, that's one. I want two, this is two, and I want 2 3s, and these is the 2 3s. So it tells me what to do. So I would put this down here. I have this plate. I need to replace my plates rather. Put that on, and then just run this through the stamp emboss machine. So my stamp emboss machine is right here. So I'm going to, not sure how you best can see that, but we'll put it there. I'll just run this through here. Very easy to do. There we go. You can see I need to replace my plates. The plates are getting very worn, and they have been replaced before, but there we go. And there is my sentiment. Looks nice and straight, all ready to go. So I can use either one, or use that for another card. And I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to set my plates aside, and I don't know about you, but when I'm done with my dies, I put them back away. I have found that I have lost track of dies more times than I want to count, and I'll put that away. And as well, when I'm finished with my stamps, I want to make sure that I clean them right away. So I'm going to grab my simple chamois that looks very stained, but that's okay. It works very well. I'm going to clean it. So there you go. It's all nice and clean. I'm going to pull it off here, put my block away, and I'm going to put away my sentiment. There we go. So that's as easy as that. I know now where they all are and where they are where they should be. The next thing that we are going to do is I'm going to show you the cards. So again, this is the card front. So I'm going to glue the DSP onto my front, or use your stamp and seal, which is what I'm going to use. So I'm just going to flip this over. I'm going to run some stamp and seal here, a little on the bottom, and again up the other side. You notice how I flick it, that by flicking it off the side, it leaves the sticky still there, and I don't have to go searching for it. So there we go. Now this paper, DSP, I want the greenery to come down from the top. So I'm going to put my card right here. I'm going to line up so I have an even border around the edge, or roughly an even border around the edge. Put that there. I am going to use dimensionals for the back of my sentiment. So there's I'm going to use 3 on this one. There we go. Then I'm going to use my pick tool. Love the pick tool. And just pull those off, the backing off here. So the next thing I'm going to do is to place my happy birthday right here. I want a little white showing over here. I want white on the bottom. So I'm going to put it like here, so I have it even. Then I'm going to take my Dragonfly. Now I am going to overlap the wings here, so I am going to put a dimensional on the back to raise the body up, but I want to make sure there's no dimensional here, because it would be challenging to get it stuck. I'm going to do this. Let me have a look, and I think I'll put another little piece out here. So put a little piece out here. And the other little trick that I'm going to do, because the tail could easily get caught on the on the card when you open it. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the tail, and that'll hold it down so it won't get caught on the envelope. And I'm going to use this to pull off the backings. There we go. And then we're just going to set this here like this. Put this down, that, and hold down the tail of the dragonfly, and we call it a tail, but the end of it at least. And I also have one final touch that I want to do, and that is to do the basic rhinestone on the body. So I take the putty end, and I think I will do my, here, I'm going to do this right there. And I mean, if you wanted to, you could do 2 of the rhinestones, but I think I'll just do the 1. And voila, your outside of your card is done. Then you can stamp the inside with whatever wish you like. And I think I would do the, I'm going to grab it here. I think I will use the, see if there's something here I can use. Happy birthday with every thing you do. We don't want that. And wishing you the best year yet. Let's do that one. Wishing you the best year yet. It's just one. Oops. Wishing you every happiness a special day will bring. And I do not see, there we go. Wishing you the best year yet. So let's grab that. Trying to grab a block that this will fit on. Wishing you, and sometimes what I'll do is I'll put this on my grid paper, and then I'll use the back of the stamp to try to get it straight. That way, when I stamp my sentiment, it's more likely to be straight. So let's do this, and we'll ink it up, and I'm going to test it out on my grid paper. So I'm going to go by the fact that I have the stamp. Look at that. So even though it might look crooked on the back, I obviously got my sticker on crooked. I don't know if you ever do that, but I obviously do, because then I'm going to use my grid paper to line up my card. I am going to stamp my sentiment. There we go. And if you wanted to, you could stamp something else on the inside, or maybe what I may do, which I won't keep you online to do, but I will actually maybe color in the other dragonfly and put it on the inside of the card. That would be very pretty. So there's my sentiment, and again, I put it away. Good practice. And I'm going to put this on the inside of the card, and then our card will be completed. I've lost the tape, so you just run your thumb along the roller and it'll bring it back. There we go. Wishing you the best year yet. And we are here. And again, we just want that little border somewhat even around the outside. And voila, beyond doing, I think I will color my other dragonfly and put it on the inside, and our card is completed. I want to thank you so much for joining me today. And I trust that you will take this simple design with whatever DSP you have, and I would work with a dragonfly. You might have a butterfly that you would put on the front. The Tasteful Label dies are a wonderful addition to your tools that you may use. I hope you can use this so that when you need to put together a card quickly, you have this in your arsenal. Take care, and again, thank you for joining me, the Firefly Stamper. Bye-bye.